Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I'm Punita Bakshi and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan will create wealth and value for whole humanity. Bhagavad Gita makes us think, inspires to question and keeps mind open, asserts Prime Minister. 17 states implement One Nation, One Ration Card system after Uttarakhand becomes the latest state to complete the reform. Over 2,56 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccines administered in the country so far. Karnataka government bans all late-night parties and restricts large gatherings at marriage ceremonies to curb the spread of COVID-19. 2 terrorists killed in an encounter in Anantana district of Jamun, Kashmir. President Ramnath Kovind says new education policy focuses on promoting understanding of Indian culture and inculcating moral values. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat tomorrow to mark 75 years of India's independence. Mahashivratri being celebrated with religious gaiety and fervour across the country. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people on the auspicious occasion. In cricket, Gujarat set a 185-run target for Uttar Pradesh in first semi-final of Vijay Hazare Trophy One-Day Championship in Delhi. In the other semi-final, Mumbai gave Karnataka 323 runs to chase. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing. Focus on hand and face hygiene. And now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan will create wealth and value for the whole humanity. He said this initiative is good for the world. The Prime Minister was speaking at the launch of Kindle version of Swami Chidbhavanandaji's Bhagavad Gita today.
Today, the 1.3 billion people of India have decided their course of action. They are going to make India Atmanirbhar or self-reliant. In the long term, only a self-reliant India is in everyone's interest. At the core of Atmanirbhar Bharat is to create wealth and values not only for ourselves but for the larger humanity. We believe that an Atmanirbhar Bharat is good for the world.
The Prime Minister said the world is fighting a tough battle against a global pandemic, and when the world needed medicines, India did whatever it can do.
The world is fighting a tough battle against a once-in-lifetime global pandemic. The economic and social impacts are also far-reaching. In such a time, the path shown in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita becomes ever relevant. It could provide strength and direction to once again emerge victorious from the challenges humanity faces. In India, we saw many instances of this. Our people-powered fight against COVID-19, the outstanding spirit of the people, the courage of our citizens. One can say that behind this are glimpses of what Gita highlights.
Appreciating the outstanding spirit and courage shown by the people of the country during COVID-19 pandemic, the Prime Minister said our scientists worked in a speedy manner and came out with indigenous vaccine.
Our scientists worked in a quick time to come out with vaccines. And now, India is humbled that vaccines made in India are going around the world. We want to heal as well as help humanity. This is exactly what the Gita teaches us. Friends, I would specially urge my young friends to have a look at the Bhagavad Gita. The teachings are extremely practical and relatable. In the middle of fast-paced lives, the Gita will provide an oasis of calm and peace. It is a practical guide for several dimensions of life.
Highlighting the importance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in life, the Prime Minister said, it makes us think, inspires us to question and keeps our mind open.
Never forget the famous verse, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. It will free our mind from fear of failure and put our focus on our action. The chapter on Jnana Yoga deals with the importance of true knowledge. Bhakti Yoga, teaching us the importance of devotion, is touched upon in one of the chapters. Every chapter has something to offer to cultivate a positive frame of mind. Above all, the Gita reinforces the sentiment that each one of us is a spark of the Supreme, the all-powerful Divine.
The Prime Minister said e-books are becoming very popular, especially among the youth. Therefore, this effort will connect more youngsters with the noble thoughts of Gita. He urged the young people to adopt the teaching of Bhagavad Gita as it is practicable and relatable. Mr. Modi said this e-book will also deepen the connect between the eternal Gita and glorious Tamil culture, as the vibrant Tamil diaspora will be able to read it easily. 17 states have operationalized One Nation, One Ration Card system. Uttarakhand is the latest state to complete the reform. States completing One Nation, One Ration Card system reform are eligible for additional borrowing of 0.25% of gross state domestic product. Accordingly, the centre has granted additional borrowing permission of 37,600 crore rupees to these states. One Nation, One Ration Card system ensures availability of ration to beneficiaries under National Food Security Act and other welfare schemes.
IT and Communication Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad today said Apple's plan to produce iPhone 12 smartphones in India will create jobs in large numbers. Appreciating the plan, Mr. Prasad said the government's effort to make India a big hub of mobile and its components manufacturing is attracting global attention. Apple yesterday said that it is going to start iPhone 12 in India. The tech giant, which started manufacturing iPhones in India in 2017, has been shifting some of its productions from China to India. According to experts, shifting some of the production to India is not only in the interest of Apple, but also the Indian economy. In the poll-bound states of Assam and West Bengal, tomorrow will be the last date for the withdrawal of candidature for the first phase of state assembly elections. In case of second phase, tomorrow will be the closing day for filing the nominations. In addition, the process of filing of nominations will begin with the issuance of notification for the third phase of assembly elections in these two states and also for the single-phase elections in Kerala and Tamil Nadu as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry tomorrow. In Assam, 47 assembly constituencies will go to polls on 27th of March during the first phase, while polling will be held in 30 assembly constituencies of West Bengal in this phase. The second phase of polling in these two states will be conducted on 1st of April in 39 assembly constituencies of Assam and 30 assembly constituencies of West Bengal. Third phase polling in these two states will be held on 6th of April, when 40 assembly constituencies of Assam and 31 assembly constituencies of West Bengal will go to polls. The single-phase polling in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, along with the Union Territory of Puducherry, will also be held on the same day. All the 140 assembly constituencies of Kerala and 234 assembly constituencies in Tamil Nadu, along with 30 assembly constituencies in Puducherry, will go to polls together.
In West Bengal, after scrutiny of nomination papers filed for first phase of assembly election in the state, the authorities found papers of 206 candidates valid. An official from the State Chief Electoral Officer's office said altogether 222 candidates had filed their nominations for the first phase of polling to be held on 30 assembly seats on the 27th of March. The official said out of them, the nomination papers of 16 were found invalid. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is undergoing treatment at Sskm Hospital in Kolkata. She suffered injuries during her visit to Nandigram yesterday. Doctors have confirmed that Ms. Banerjee suffered bone injuries on her ankle and shoulder and will be kept under observation for 48 hours. The state government has constituted a team of 9 senior doctors to treat the Trinamool Congress chief. The team consists of 1 cardiologist, an endocrinologist, a general surgery doctor, an orthopedist, and a medicine doctor. The Trinamool Congress today said nothing will break the will of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. The Trinamool Congress chief was on a 2-day visit to Nandigram for election campaigning. She filed her nomination from Nandigram seat yesterday. Ms. Banerjee has alleged that she was attacked while interacting with locals at Birulia Bazar in East Midnapur. Meanwhile, the East Midnapur District Police submitted their primary report on the incident this morning. Trinamool Congress has deferred its manifesto release scheduled for today following an alleged attack on the party chief.
As official notification for the upcoming polls and nomination filing begins in Kerala tomorrow, seat-sharing talks and finalizing of candidates' list is almost nearing to conclusion in the state. More from our Thiruvananthapuram correspondent.
The ruling LDF has kick-started their campaign by declaring 132 of the 140 candidates for the upcoming polls. Candidates began to meet voters in their respective constituencies. LDF have also begun their election convention meetings in constituencies today. In UDF, heated discussions are going on in Delhi as Congress is about to release their first set of candidates today. Meanwhile, seat discussions are underway in NDA. It is expected that BJP will declare their final list of candidates by today evening after their election committee meeting. Mayusha for AR News from Kozhikode.
Meanwhile, with the aim to increase the polling percentage during the upcoming assembly elections, an interesting venture called Vote Vandi has started in Kollam district. Interesting and informative songs and slogans that reminds the value of the right to vote will reach the voters through the initiative. A model of the polling booths has also been set up inside the Vote Vandi. People can clear their doubts regarding the voting process by practicing of casting vote in the voting machine arranged for the purpose. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan will create wealth and value for whole humanity. Bhagavad Gita makes us think, inspires to question and keeps mind open, asserts Prime Minister. 17 states implement One Nation, One Ration Card system after Uttarakhand becomes the latest state to complete the reform. Over 2 crore 56 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccines administered in the country so far. Karnataka government bans all late-night parties and restrict large gatherings at marriage ceremonies to curb spread of COVID-19. 2 terrorists killed in an encounter in Anantana district of Jamun and Kashmir. President Ramnath Kovind says new education policy focuses on promoting understanding of Indian culture and inculcating moral values. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat tomorrow to mark 75 years of India's independence. Mahashivratri being celebrated with religious gaiety and fervour across the country. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people on the auspicious occasion. In cricket, Gujarat set a 185-run target for Uttar Pradesh in first semi-final of Vijay Hazare Trophy One-Day Championship in Delhi. And in other semi-final, Mumbai gave Karnataka 323 runs to chase. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
More than 2 crore 56 lakh 85,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered to the beneficiaries in the country so far. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today informed that a total of 13 lakh 17,357 doses of vaccines have been administered in the last 24 hours to the beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the country's COVID-19 recovery rate reached 96.92%. A total of 22,854 new cases have been reported in the country in the past 24 hours, taking the cumulative positive cases to over 1 crore 12 lakh 85,000. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mother today received the first jab of COVID-19 vaccine. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that he is happy to share that his mother has taken the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine today. He urged everyone to help and motivate people around them who are eligible to take the vaccine.
In Maharashtra, complete lockdown has been declared in Nagpur from 15th to 21st of this month due to rising cases of COVID-19 in the city. Guardian Minister of Nagpur, Dr. Nitin Raut, made the announcement today. The lockdown will be in the area of Nagpur City Police Commissionerate, and essential services, however, will be operational in this period. Nagpur recorded a surge of 1,700 positive cases yesterday. During this week-long lockdown, industries in the city will continue their functioning while private offices will be closed. 25% attendance will be required in government offices. There will be curfew in the city to curb the unnecessary crowding. In Karnataka, due to a gradual spurt in the COVID-19 cases, especially in and around Bengaluru city, State Health Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar said that the government has banned all late-night parties that could turn out to be super-spreader later. He also stated that measures have been taken to restrict large gatherings at marriage ceremonies and other similar functions. He pointed out that the neighbouring states have been witnessing a spike in the COVID-19 cases. Hence, precautions are being taken to contain the spread of the virus, both in Bengaluru and other parts of the state. Due to Mahashivratri today, the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagarpalike has deputed its marshals outside Shiva temples to regulate the crowd.
Brazil has exceeded 2,000 COVID-related deaths in a single day for the first time yesterday as infection rates soar. The country has the second highest death toll in the world behind the United States, with a total of over 268,000 fatalities. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has described the situation in Brazil as very concerning and warned of a possible regional spillover. Today is the anniversary of a pandemic being declared by the World Health Organization. Worldwide, more than 118 million cases of the virus have been recorded and more than 2.6 million deaths. South Korea will extend vaccination for people above 65 years of age with AstraZeneca's coronavirus vaccine to ramp up its immunization drive, Prime Minister Chung Si-kyun told in a government meeting in Seoul today. The country has been rolling out the vaccine since the last week of February.
In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists have been killed in an ongoing encounter at Kandipora area of Bijbehara in Anantana district. Talking exclusively to All India Radio News, State Director General of Police Dilbag Singh said the gunfight erupted last evening when a joint team of police and security forces launched a cordon and search operation following the input about the presence of terrorists in the area. The operation was suspended for the night and resumed early morning today.
पुलिस को एक खास इतला मिली कि एक ठिकाने पर जो आतंकवादियों ने अपने छुपने की जगह बना रखी है, वहां पर उनकी मौजूदगी है। इस बना पर पुलिस और आर्मी ने मिलकर के ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया, जो रात को अंधेरे की वजह से कुछ देर के लिए सस्पेंड करना पड़ा। आज सुबह फिर से ऑपरेशन शुरू किया और ऑपरेशन के दौरान 2 आतंकी मारे गए हैं। दोनों का संबंध जो है वो लश्कर मुस्तफा, जो जैश ए मोहम्मद का एक लोकल नया आउटफिट तैयार किया, उसके साथ है। काफी मकदार में असला और अम्यूनिशन भी इसमें पकड़ा गया है और इस ऑपरेशन के साथ इस इलाके में एक बड़ी कामयाबी है और लोगों के लिए एक राहत की बात है कि जो लोग परेशान थे इन आतंकी लोगों की आतंकी कार्रवाइयों से, उनके लिए राहत मिलेगी।
The festival of Mahashivratri is being celebrated across the country with full religious fervor and gaiety. On the occasion, the devotees worship Lord Shiva, the destroyer of evil. The devotees also visit Shiv temples to pay their obeisance to seek Lord's blessings.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bhole, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
In Uttar Pradesh, lakhs of devotees are taking holy dip in rivers and worshipping Lord Shiva in temples across the state on the auspicious occasion. Administration has made elaborate arrangements at Sskm, which will also mark the end of Magh Mela. In Uttarakhand, thousands of devotees from different parts of the country thronged to Haridwar to take a holy dip in Ganga River in early hours of the day. The first Shahi Snan at Mahakumbh in Haridwar is also taking place on Mahashivratri. Ganga River, the most revered river, has a very close connection with Lord Shiva, and there are innumerable mythological stories surrounding it. The Mahakumbh at Haridwar is happening after 12 years. COVID-19 protocol is also being observed. Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat also reached Haridwar to offer prayers. More from our correspondent.
More than 22 lakh devotees took holy dip in river Ganga on the auspicious occasion of Mahashivratri today. Meanwhile, Juna Akhada, Agni Akhada and Avan Akhada have performed Shahi Snan at Har Ki Paidi. The sages and saints are reaching for Shahi Snan in sequence. Special arrangements have been made in Haridwar as devotees from across the country are expected to flock here for holy dip. The Mahakumbh at Haridwar is happening after 12 years, while Ardhkumbh is held every 6 years. The festival is held at Haridwar, Prayagraj, Ujjain and Nasik after every 12 years in a cycle. Raghavesh Pandey, AIR News, Dehradun.
Meanwhile, the portals of Sri Kedarnath Dham Temple will open on May 17th at 5 a.m. this year. Sri Kedarnath's moving deity will depart from Omkareshwar Temple, Ukhimat, to Kedarnath Dham on 14th of May. On the auspicious occasion of Mahashivratri, after the Panchang calculation, the date for opening of the portals of Kedarnath Temple was decided at Sri Omkareshwar Temple in Ukhimat today. In Jammu and Kashmir, festival of Shivratri Herath is being celebrated across the Union Territory. It is a 3-day festival which began yesterday. In Madhya Pradesh, elaborate arrangements have been made to facilitate the darshan of Lord Shiva to devotees at Sri Mahakaleshwar Temple in Ujjain on Mahashivratri. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
Om Namah Shivaya, Har Har Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
At Ujjain, Mahakaleshwar Temple has been decorated with glittering lights. The morning Bhasma Aarti was performed only in presence of priests. Only 25,000 devotees who have made pre-booking of darshan online are being allowed to enter the temple due to COVID. Administration has made arrangements for face masks, sanitizers and water bottles for devotees. The vehicle parking arrangement for the devotees is made near Triveni Museum. Mahakaleshwar Temple is one of the 12 Jyotirlingam Shrees which are said to be the most sacred abodes of Lord Shiva. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Har Har Bhole, Namah Shivaya.
In Maharashtra, Mahashivratri processions at various places have been cancelled to avoid crowds at temples to contain the spread of the COVID-19 infection. The state government has urged people to celebrate the festival at home.
Every year, Mahashivratri festival is celebrating in Maharashtra on huge and with full of pleasure. But this year, due to pandemic COVID, out of 12 Jyotirlingam, Baidyanath Temple of Parali Vaijanath and Bhima Shankar of Pune has closed at midnight after worship. State government urged people to celebrate Mahashivratri festival at home, and as a precautionary measure, government denied permission to the masses for travelling. Therefore, thousands of devotees are disappointed. Bhavna Gokhale, AIR News, Mumbai.
President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his greetings to all countrymen on the auspicious occasion.
President Ramnath Kovind has said that the new Education Policy 2020 seeks to implement a modern education system based on research, skill and acumen relevant to the evolving needs of the present generation. The President was addressing the 41st annual convocation of the Anna University at Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Mr. Kovind said the policy focuses on promoting understanding of Indian culture and inculcating moral values.
The educational scenario in our country and the implementation of the new policy. The new policy seeks to implement a modern education system based on research, skill and acumen relevant to the evolving needs of the present. At the same time, it would also include within its domain our rich cultural heritage in consonance with the futuristic outlook. The policy focuses on inculcating moral values and promoting understanding of Indian culture. I am confident that the implementation of this policy would usher in an era of modern learning and education. It will create a brigade of researchers and professionals who would take our country to the great heights of development as befitting our national aspirations.
The President began his speech in the Tamil language and praised it for being accorded the status of classical language. He recalled the remarkable personalities like former President Abdul Kalam and Dr. Verghese Kurian, the force behind the White Revolution, who were alumni of the Anna University.
This university has produced icons like Dr. Varghese Kurian, who literally engineered a great social transformation through milk cooperatives. As the driving force behind the White Revolution, Dr. Kurian will always be remembered as one of the foremost social entrepreneurs of modern India. Such illustrious alumni of this university remain sources of inspiration not only for all of you but also for all students everywhere.
The President is on a 3-day visit to Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the opening ceremony of 75-week-long Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat tomorrow. This event will kickstart a 25-day celebration marking the beginning of Amrit Mahotsav, commemorating 75 years of India's independence. In order to contribute to the festive fervour, Information and Broadcasting Ministry has drawn up elaborate plans for coverage of the events from across the country. Doordarshan News and News Services Division of All India Radio will provide live coverage to the inaugural events in Gujarat. Bureau of Outreach Communication, in partnership with state and union territory governments, will organize exhibitions across the country on the theme of 75 years of independence. The main event will be inaugurated at Sabarmati Ashram in Gandhinagar by the Prime Minister. Subsequently, a total of 37 state-level exhibitions will be inaugurated by eminent personalities after 12 noon tomorrow. The exhibitions will feature major landmarks of India's struggle for independence, including non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience, Quit India movement, among others, with focus on Dandi March, Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Sardar Patel and other leaders of the movement who made sacrifices for our country. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Prakash Javadekar, will inaugurate exhibitions at 6 of these 37 places virtually on Saturday, which includes exhibitions at Samba district in Jammu and Kashmir.
Digital News Publishers Association has welcomed the Information Technology Guidelines for Intermediaries and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules of 2021. In a follow-up meeting held today with Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar, the association members expressed satisfaction over the Digital Media Ethics Code notified by the government on the 25th of last month. Indian Railways has ensured cent % compliance of payment of minimum wages to contract workers through e-application Shramik Kalyan portal. The ministry said the move will benefit daily wage earners. In cricket, chasing a target of 185 set by Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh were 58 for 3 in 15 overs in the first semi-final of Vijay Hazare Trophy one-day championship being played in Delhi when reports last came in. Gujarat were bowled out for a paltry of 184 runs in 48.1 overs. In the second semi-final of the championship, chasing a target of 323 runs set by Mumbai, Karnataka were 33 for 1 in 6 overs in Delhi a short while ago. The final match of the championship will be played on 14th of March.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital Delhi is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The maximum temperature will be around 34 degrees Celsius, the minimum 17 degrees. Mumbai will have a maximum temperature of nearly 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have partly cloudy sky with an upper level of 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will also have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was recorded 24 degrees and maximum temperature 33 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain and the temperature will hover between 7 and 10 degrees Celsius. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan will create wealth and value for whole humanity. Bhagavad Gita makes us think, inspires to question and keeps mind open, asserts the Prime Minister. 17 states implement One Nation, One Ration Card system after Uttarakhand becomes the latest state to complete the reform. Over 2.56 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccines administered in the country so far. Karnataka government bans all late-night parties and restricts large gatherings at marriage ceremonies to curb spread of COVID-19. 2 terrorists killed in an encounter in Anantana district of Jammu and Kashmir. President Ramnath Kovind says new education policy focuses on promoting understanding of Indian culture and inculcating moral values. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav from Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat tomorrow to mark 75 years of India's independence. and Mahashivratri being celebrated with religious gaiety and fervour across the country. And with that we end the midday news.